My beloved friend, there are moments in life when your heart cries for a miracle, not tomorrow, not next week, but now. You have prayed, you have waited, and you have believed. But today I want to show you how to pray a faith-charged prayer that opens the door for provision within 24 hours. You see, prayer is not begging. Prayer is the language of creation. When you speak words of faith, the unseen becomes seen. The moment you declare with conviction, heaven begins to move. Close your eyes and imagine your need already supplied. Picture the bills paid, your wallet full, your debts canceled, your business overflowing. Faith is the substance of what you hope for, the evidence of what you cannot yet see. Now I want you to say this prayer, not with doubt, not with fear, but with boldness and certainty that your Father hears you. Heavenly Father, I thank you that you are my unlimited source. You open doors no man can shut. I receive supernatural provision today. I command lack to live my life now. Money, opportunities, and favor come within 24 hours. Angels of prosperity, go forth and bring it to me. I believe, I receive, and I thank you, Lord. My friend, when you speak these words with faith for just 60 seconds, you activate the law of expectation. The moment you say it, heaven begins to align situations, people, and resources to bless you. Don't doubt what you have just prayed. Speak it morning and night for the next 24 hours. See it, believe it, and rejoice before it happens, because it will happen. Faith is not waiting to see before believing. It is celebrating before seeing. So go forth in confidence. The same God who multiplies loaves and fishes is still at work today. You will testify within 24 hours that the money has come, the door has opened, and your miracle is real. Prayer is not begging, it is creating with faith. When most people think of prayer, they imagine pleading with God, crying out for mercy, or asking for help from a distant power. But true prayer is not the voice of desperation. It is the voice of creation. It is the language of faith that speaks things into being. When you pray as a creator, you are not trying to convince God to do something He is unwilling to do. You are aligning your words with His promises, and in that alignment, power is released. When you understand that prayer is creative, not pleading, your posture changes. You no longer kneel before heaven with fear in your heart, wondering if your need will be heard. Instead, you rise with confidence, knowing that every word spoken in faith carries the vibration of divine authority. In the spiritual realm, words are not noise, they are blueprints. Every declaration you make builds a reality. Your words form the structure of your future. When you say, I am blessed, that statement begins to create conditions around you to reflect blessing. When you say, I never have enough, that statement forms barriers that keep lack in motion. Prayer, therefore, is not only about what you say to God, it is about what you create with your own tongue. You see, God designed us in His image, and His first act was creation through speech. Let there be light. He said, and there was light. That same creative ability was placed within every human being. When you pray, you are not starting something new. You are continuing the divine act of creation. The words you speak are seeds, and every seed produces after its kind. If you sow words of lack, you harvest limitation. If you sow words of faith, you harvest abundance. This is why Jesus said, you shall have whatsoever you say. He did not say, you shall have whatsoever you beg for. He said, you shall have what you say. It is the spoken word that carries authority, not the silent wish. When you pray from a place of faith, you are not asking God to give you money or open doors. You are declaring that those things are already released in the spiritual realm. And now you are calling them forth into your physical reality. You are speaking as a child of the King, not as a servant outside the gate. That is the difference between begging and creating. Begging looks at the problem. Creating looks at the promise. Begging focuses on what is missing. Creating focuses on what is already provided. True prayer also carries a tone of certainty. There is no hesitation, no, if it is possible, language. It speaks with assurance. It knows the power of words. When you pray as a creator, your voice carries the authority of conviction. You say, provision is coming to me now. Money flows into my life. Doors are opening in my favor. You do not need to know how it will happen. Faith is not concerned with the process, only the outcome. Faith sees the finished picture and speaks from that place. And when you speak long enough, with confidence and consistency, your outer world begins to conform to your inner declaration. When you realize prayer is creation, you stop repeating words without expectation. You understand that every time you pray, something is forming, energy is moving, circumstances are rearranging, and divine timing is aligning. Heaven is not ignoring you. Heaven is waiting for your words. You have been given the creative power of speech to design your destiny. Use it with intention. Speak light, not darkness. Speak abundance, not lack. Speak favor, not fear. The power of life and death truly lies in the tongue. And when that tongue is guided by faith, it becomes the most powerful creative instrument in the universe. Visualization strengthens faith. Faith is the ability to believe in what cannot yet be seen, but visualization gives shape to that belief. When you begin to imagine the reality you are praying for, you give your faith an image to hold on to. The human mind was designed to create mental pictures long before physical results appear. What you see internally will always find its way into the external world. Visualization is not pretending, it is perceiving the invisible as though it were already visible. It is painting the picture of your answered prayer before the paintbrush of time has touched the canvas of your life. When you pray for financial breakthrough, do not only speak the words, see the outcome. Close your eyes and picture yourself debt-free, smiling as the phone rings with good news, feeling the weight of lack lifted off your shoulders. See the bank message showing an unexpected deposit. See yourself giving generously, helping others, living in freedom. When you see it clearly in your spirit, your heart begins to align with that image, and your emotions, words, and actions start working in harmony toward it. The subconscious mind cannot distinguish between what is imagined and what is real. It only acts on what it repeatedly sees and hears. When your inner picture becomes stronger than your outer reality, change begins to manifest. Visualization is the bridge between the promise and its manifestation. Many people pray with faith in their words but doubt in their imagination. They say God will provide, yet they secretly picture unpaid bills and empty pockets. Faith cannot grow where the imagination is filled with fear. The imagination must agree with the declaration. This is why every great miracle begins in the mind before it appears in the world. The seed of every answered prayer is a vision that has been seen, felt, and believed before it existed. When you visualize, you engage your spirit with clarity. You give your faith direction. A person without vision is like a ship without a compass. It may be moving, but it has no destination. Faith needs a target to focus on, and visualization provides that target. It says, this is what I'm believing for. This is what my miracle looks like. And when the image is held firmly, doubt begins to fade. You cannot doubt what you can already see. The clearer the picture in your heart, the stronger your belief becomes. Visualization also brings peace. Instead of being anxious about when or how your need will be met, you rest in the image of completion. You see yourself already walking in the answer, and that vision quiets the noise of uncertainty. When you dwell on that inner picture, it strengthens your confidence and keeps you steady even when nothing seems to change around you. The moment you see yourself as blessed, you begin to act blessed. You make decisions from abundance, not from lack. You walk with a different energy because your inner world has shifted. Every time you visualize, you are giving life to your faith. You are watering the seed of prayer. Just as a gardener tends to a seed with patience, you nurture your prayer by seeing its fulfillment again and again. The more vivid your vision, the faster your faith grows. When doubt tries to whisper that it's impossible, you return to the image of your answered prayer and say, I've already seen it. It must come to pass. What you hold in your imagination will eventually manifest in your reality. That is why visualization is not a mere exercise of the mind. It is a spiritual act of faith that invites heaven to make visible what your spirit has already embraced. The 60-second prayer activates divine movement. There are moments in the spirit when time itself seems to compress, when what would normally take months or years can happen in a single day. That is what happens when you release focused, faith-filled prayer for just 60 seconds. It is not the length of the prayer that matters, but the intensity and conviction behind it. When you speak with absolute certainty, when your words are charged with belief and gratitude, the atmosphere around you begins to shift. Heaven does not respond to long speeches, it responds to living faith. A single minute of true faith can accomplish more than hours of empty repetition. The reason a 60-second prayer is so powerful is because it forces you to focus. You have no time for doubt, no time to wander in your thoughts, no time to question if God will answer. In that one concentrated minute, your spirit is aligned, your heart is open, and your words are sharp. Every declaration comes from the center of your faith, not from your fears. It is like striking a match in the dark. One spark of pure belief can light up everything around it. When you say those words with full conviction, money, opportunities, and favor come to me now, you are not asking timidly, you are commanding with divine authority. You are acknowledging that heaven and earth respond to faith, and faith works immediately. That 1 minute becomes a moment of divine synchronization. While you are speaking, unseen forces begin to move. Angels are dispatched, opportunities are rearranged, and paths are cleared. God does not need time to prepare your miracle. He only waits for your faith to activate it. The moment your heart and your words agree, the power is released. That is why a 60-second prayer is not a routine, it is a spiritual ignition. It starts a chain reaction in the invisible realm. The words you speak become commands that shape your circumstances. What you declare with conviction in that short moment can ripple through the next 24 hours with divine acceleration. The 60-second prayer also carries an element of expectation. Because you are declaring something so bold that provision will come within 24 hours. Your faith is stretched. It forces your mind to rise above natural reasoning and trust in supernatural timing. You begin to look for signs, you become more alert to opportunities, and your awareness of God's provision grows stronger. This expectation is not anxiety, it is anticipation. It is the confident knowing that something is about to happen. Expectation is the magnet that draws the manifestation closer. When your prayer ends, your faith does not stop. It continues to vibrate in the spiritual atmosphere, attracting the results you declared. It is important to understand that time is not a barrier for God. A 60-second prayer is not about rushing Him. It is about releasing your faith fully in the moment. Faith exists in the present, not in the past or future. When you pray with all your heart right now, heaven meets you in the now. You are stepping into the divine moment where miracles are born. The length of time is symbolic. It reminds you that you don't need long hours of striving to reach God. What He desires is pure faith, spoken with clarity and trust. Just as lightning strikes in an instant, but carries immense power, your short prayer, if filled with faith, can bring immediate results. When you set aside one focused minute to speak life, you are declaring to yourself and to the universe that your situation is about to change. You are taking authority over your circumstances instead of being ruled by them. Every time you say that 60-second prayer, imagine it as a spiritual decree being written into reality. Heaven hears, earth responds, and the impossible becomes possible. Faith words create physical change. Every word you speak carries energy, and that energy shapes your world. The universe was formed through the spoken word, and the same creative power that once said, "Let there be light," still operates through human speech today. When you speak words of faith, you are not merely expressing hope or desire, you are releasing divine substance into the atmosphere. Words are not empty sounds, they are containers of power. They carry within them the vibration of belief or doubt, life or death, abundance or lack. Every time you open your mouth, you set spiritual forces into motion. What you repeatedly say eventually manifests in the physical world because your words create patterns that reality aligns itself to. When faith fills your heart, your words become instruments of creation. The law of faith does not respond to emotions, it responds to speech. You can feel hopeful all day, but nothing changes until you declare it. When you boldly speak what you believe, you give life to it. The moment those words leave your mouth, they begin to take form. You may not see it immediately, but the unseen realm begins to reorganize itself according to the command of your faith. That is why people who constantly declare lack, sickness, or failure find themselves trapped in those very conditions. They are unknowingly reinforcing their struggles through their speech. But those who speak victory, health, and abundance release creative forces that draw those realities closer every day. Faith words work like seeds. You plant them in the soil of the Spirit, and they grow into tangible results. The more you water them with consistency, the faster they sprout. It is not enough to speak once. You must make faith declarations part of your daily rhythm. When you say, "I am prosperous, I am provided for, I am surrounded by favor," those statements begin to shape your mindset, your decisions, and your environment. People are drawn to you differently, opportunities open, and your energy attracts what aligns with your faith. The physical world cannot resist the authority of spoken belief. It must respond. It may not happen instantly, but persistence ensures manifestation. When you speak faith-filled words, you also change your inner chemistry. Science confirms that positive speech alters brain patterns, reduces stress, and enhances focus. But beyond biology lies a deeper truth. Your spirit recognizes the authority in your voice. Every declaration reminds your soul who you really are, a co-creator with God, endowed with the same creative essence that sustains the universe. The act of speaking faith awakens spiritual confidence. You begin to walk taller, think clearer, and expect more. That inner shift creates an outer shift because the world reflects your inner state. There is power in consistency. When you wake up and speak blessings over your day, You are setting the tone for divine alignment. When you bless your finances, your relationships, and your work, those areas begin to flourish. Every word is a seed, and every seed has a harvest time. Faith words may not always bring immediate change, but they never return empty. They continue working quietly, rearranging circumstances until what was once unseen becomes visible. To speak faith is to agree with heaven's reality rather than earth's limitations. You are not denying your current situation, you are declaring a higher truth over it. When you say, I am supplied, even when your pockets are empty, you are calling things that are not as though they were. That act of agreement with divine provision opens doors that logic could never open. It changes your perception, strengthens your faith, and attracts solutions from unexpected places. The more you speak, the stronger your faith becomes, and the stronger your faith becomes, the faster your world shifts to match it. Every miracle begins with words. Your healing, your breakthrough, your increase, all start with what you say. Speak life into every situation. Speak abundance into your finances. Speak success into your path. Your words are living seeds, and when spoken with faith, they will not fail to produce what they were sent to create. Gratitude seals your miracle. When you give thanks before you see the result, you demonstrate true faith. Gratitude is not simply good manners, it is a powerful spiritual force that completes the process of manifestation. Many people pray fervently but forget to thank God until the miracle has fully appeared. Yet the moment of gratitude is what solidifies faith into reality. Thanksgiving is the language of completion. It tells the heavens that you believe the work is already done. When you thank before receiving, you are saying, I trust you so completely that I already celebrate the outcome. This level of faith attracts the miraculous because it shows confidence in divine timing and provision. Gratitude transforms the energy around you. When you begin to give thanks, your heart opens, your mind calms, and your spirit becomes receptive. Anxiety and fear cannot coexist with genuine gratitude. The moment you start thanking, you shift from lack to abundance. You stop looking at what is missing and start seeing what is already working in your favor. This shift in focus invites more blessing. What you appreciate multiplies. When you thank God for small things, larger things begin to appear. Gratitude changes your vibration, and that vibration draws more reasons to be thankful. It creates an atmosphere where miracles are natural instead of rare. When you pray for provision and immediately thank God as if it has already arrived, you are declaring that the spiritual transaction is complete. The physical manifestation is only a matter of time. Gratitude tells the universe that you are ready to receive. It eliminates the energy of waiting and replaces it with the energy of possession. Instead of saying, I hope money will come, you say, thank you that it is already on its way. That thankfulness aligns your heart with the frequency of abundance. It keeps your faith alive and active while you wait for the visible sign of what you've already claimed. Gratitude also protects you from discouragement. When results seem delayed, it's easy to slip into doubt or frustration. But a thankful heart cannot sink. Every time you say, thank you, Lord, you build an inner wall of peace that guards your mind from fear. You remind yourself that the same God who provided yesterday will provide again. Gratitude becomes your anchor in uncertain moments. Even when your eyes see nothing changing, your spirit knows that everything is moving behind the scenes. Thanksgiving keeps your faith stable because it focuses on the unchanging goodness of God rather than temporary appearances. A person who lives in gratitude becomes magnetic. They radiate peace, confidence, and joy, qualities that attract favor and opportunity. People are drawn to those who are thankful, and even unseen spiritual forces respond to that frequency. Gratitude opens doors that effort alone cannot open. It carries the fragrance of faith, and faith always pleases God. The thankful heart says, I believe you enough to rejoice before the victory. That joy in advance is the proof of trust. It tells heaven that you have no doubt about the outcome. Once gratitude fills your heart, fear has no space to operate. Gratitude is also an act of humility. It acknowledges that the blessing does not come from your own strength, but from divine grace. It keeps your spirit soft, your ego quiet, and your heart focused on the source rather than the supply. When you continually thank God, you remain connected to Him even after the miracle arrives. Many people forget their source once the provision comes, but gratitude keeps you in alignment, ensuring that the flow never stops. It turns one blessing into many because a grateful heart is never empty. Every time you finish praying, seal it with thanksgiving. Say, thank you, Lord, that it is done. Speak it before the evidence shows. Rejoice as if the money, opportunity, or healing has already manifested. That act of gratitude transforms belief into experience. It is the final stroke that completes the masterpiece of faith. Expectation manifests quickly. Faith without expectation is incomplete because expectation is the bridge between belief and manifestation. It is not enough to pray or to speak words of faith. You must also expect the result to appear. Expectation is the spiritual magnet that pulls invisible blessings into visible form. It is the inner assurance that what you have declared will show up, not someday, but soon. When you carry genuine expectation, you live in readiness for miracles. You begin to notice signs, opportunities, and divine connections that were always there but unseen before. Expectation sharpens your spiritual sight. It tunes your heart to the frequency of answered prayer. Expectation is more than positive thinking. It is a deep spiritual knowing. It is the quiet confidence that God has already set the answer in motion. You don't need to see proof to believe. It is enough that you have spoken and believed. Expectation says, something is happening right now, even if I cannot see it. That certainty energizes your words and quickens their manifestation. When you expect something with all your heart, your actions naturally align with that belief. You prepare, you position yourself, you act like it's already done. That posture of readiness invites the blessing to arrive faster because the universe responds to alignment. When you expect your prayer to work, you stop checking the clock or worrying about how it will happen. You rest in assurance rather than anxiety. Expectation is peaceful. It doesn't chase the result, it welcomes it. Think of a farmer who plants a seed. He does not dig up the soil every few hours to check if it's growing. He waters it, tends it, and expects the harvest in its season. Faith works the same way. Once you've prayed and declared, expectation is the watering process. It keeps your belief alive while the seed of your word grows beneath the surface. When you expect something to happen within 24 hours, that focused anticipation accelerates results because it channels your faith into a specific window of time. The energy of expectation makes manifestation move swiftly. Expectation also changes how you talk. You stop saying, I hope it happens, and start saying, it's already on the way. Your language shifts from uncertainty to confidence. Every time you speak with expectation, you reinforce your faith. Even your body begins to respond. Your posture straightens, your tone strengthens, and your presence carries more authority. Expectation fills you with the kind of energy that draws favor toward you. People can sense it. Opportunities seem to find you. The unseen responds to the power of an expectant spirit. The greatest enemy of expectation is doubt. Doubt weakens the vibration of faith. It delays what could have come quickly. When you start questioning, what if it doesn't work? You block the flow. But when you say, it must work, it's already done, you reopen the channel of manifestation. Expectation is not about arrogance, it's about trust. You are not demanding from God, you are simply believing His word so fully that you expect nothing less than fulfillment. When you live in that level of confidence, time and circumstance begin to bend in your favor. Expectation also produces joy before the miracle comes. You begin to celebrate early, not because you've seen the result, but because you know it's inevitable. That joy itself becomes a sign that manifestation is near. A heart filled with joy and gratitude magnetizes miracles faster than a heart filled with worry. When you expect abundance, you walk like someone who already has it. That vibration of certainty attracts what matches it. Every answered prayer begins with faith, but finishes with expectation. When you expect your words to work, they work. When you expect divine supply, it comes. When you expect favor, doors open. Expectation makes faith visible. It transforms the unseen promise into a seen reality. What you confidently expect with unwavering belief cannot stay hidden. It must appear, and often it appears faster than you imagine. My dear friend, you have now learned the power that rests within your own words, your vision, your faith, and your heart. Prayer is not a ritual, it is a creative force. When you speak with faith, you give life to what you desire. When you visualize your victory, you make it real in your spirit before it appears in your hands. When you pray for 60 seconds with conviction, heaven begins to move on your behalf. Every word of faith you speak begins to shape the world around you. Gratitude seals that miracle, and expectation brings it swiftly into your reality. You are not powerless. You are not forgotten. The Creator who spoke the universe into existence has placed that same creative spirit inside you. The words you speak today will become the world you live in tomorrow. So let your confession be strong, your faith unshakable, your gratitude overflowing, and your expectation alive. Speak life, speak abundance. Speak blessing. Believe that within 24 hours, something is shifting, something is breaking open, and your miracle is coming into view. Stand firm in your faith. Don't let doubt steal what you have already claimed. Walk as if it's already done. Rejoice before you see it. When your heart and your mouth agree, heaven responds without delay. What you decree in faith will surely come to pass. And now, as we close, I want to thank you for standing with faith in your heart and courage in your spirit. May your words bring you into divine provision. May your home overflow with peace, your hands with prosperity, and your life with purpose. Thank you for listening. Thank you for believing, and thank you for declaring with me today. Go forth in faith, walk in abundance, and remember, your miracle has already begun. God bless you, and see you in your testimony.